another video started in my garage like this. You guys tired of it yet? Since I bought this car, it's had this hood vent installed right in the middle of it, and it's got a top mount intercooler, so this is actually useless. It's literally all folded over now, and the ducting is actually under this vent. You can see it kind of in there. Funny enough, I'm the one that actually cut this hood and put this vent in it for my friend when he had owned it. Get in the hoodie. The better way to do this is to have vents on the sides, that way air can still vent out, even with the top mount setup. I actually have vents sitting around from a long time ago when I planned to do them on my Z. Now I have them for this car. These are a universal set of hood vents from a company called Alethea Motorsports. I think they're pretty local to California, but these are an aluminum vent with integrated studs. They're pretty sweet. They also fit on the Speed 6 hood pretty well. I've got some basic measurements lined out here, and you can see they will sit pretty much perfectly along that side section there and allow vent of air to go leave out the hood with the top mount and provide better cooling for this thing. Along with cooling, there's a lot of aerodynamic benefits that come along with hood vents as well. There's a lot of pressure that gets trapped into the hood at high speeds. Venting the hood allows the pressure to escape to keep the front end of the car more planted. I noticed this a lot on the Z. Whenever I ended up doing hood vents on that car, when I bought the hood with the hood vents in it, the front end just felt way more planted and it would cool a lot better. You literally see heat escaping, and if you put them in the right spot, they will benefit your car hugely. Maybe you do it for looks, but the main reason to do this is for cooling and efficiency on track or at high speeds. Placement is a huge thing to consider. There's two things in aerodynamics that will sort of determine where you want to put your hood vents. It's low pressure zones and high pressure zones. High pressure zones is where air is being forced into areas, and low pressure is where it's either being pulled or it's just static. High pressure zone would be the front of the car, absolute front. And contrary to belief, high pressure zone is also here in this windshield cowl. That's why you've ever noticed if you've left something down here, it doesn't fly away because the air is actually hitting the windshield, forcing air down, which is why having hood spacers isn't a good idea, because it's literally just keeping hot air in your engine bay. It's forcing air back in. So if you have the vents too far back, air will be forced back in. If you have them too far forward, air won't be pushed out. So you want to have them right in this middle spot. I really apologize for the sunlight. I know it's bad. I have it marked out here. This is where the strut tower starts, and this is where sort of effective hood ventage would start, is about here with everything laid out the way it is. So I'm going to end up putting the vents right in between this spot. I already measured it out and done all that. You just don't want to have them too far back. If you pop the hood, you can kind of see where the optimum spot to have them. Go ahead and show you here. You can see there's where the vent's going to be, and there's under the hood. You can sort of see there's a big open area here on both sides where air would be efficient to escape out of. Just try and be as intentional as possible with your measurements, that way you don't end up cutting the hood in the wrong spots. It is kind of tragic to cut the hood wrong and then there's a hole left in your hood, you can't really do anything about it. So I've already gone over and measured this multiple times. I'm going to go ahead and lay down templates right now and then end up actually cutting them out with a hole saw to get the curves right, and then an angle grinder to get the main lines done, and this thing will be done and installed. Now, originally that was going to be the end of the video, it was just me installing the vents, but I decided to take it a step further to actually prove how these vents work and show that they are in fact effective in these locations. For those of us that aren't fortunate enough to have millions of dollars to put our cars through wind tunnels for aerodynamic testing, you could do what's called wool tuft testing. Pretty much, I taped a bunch of like 3-inch long pieces of yarn to the front end of the car and drove while a friend filmed the car. That's what these rollers are right now. I'll go and put them on screen. You can see the wind will pretty much guide the wool strings wherever they need to go based on how the wind is actually moving. You'll notice towards the top of the hood, where the windshield is, they actually fold around the hood, and they pretty much stay in perfect lines everywhere except for right after the vents. Even right before the vents, they do stay perfectly straight, and the only reason they start to curl up after the vent is because the vent creates turbulence, and that does end up messing up the airflow right behind it. But you'll notice right beside the vent and right on both sides, actually, the wool strings are still perfectly straight. The only thing I did notice that is suboptimal about the vent setup I currently have is the vents drop in first before then venting out. You'll notice at speed, the string actually starts to point upwards out of the vent, showing that there is air escaping out of the hood. And the higher, it seems like the faster you go, the more effect that has. Towards 70 miles an hour, these will actually stick the string straight up. But when I was testing it, I did notice the strings would actually curl inside the hood here, right before this first vent. So I did end up putting a piece of tape over that just to block it off. Tried it again at nighttime, and you could actually see all of these strings in the vent will shoot up, none actually curl in. So I'm gonna make a little plate for that and bolt it in behind here to make it even more effective, just to cause this to not create drag and to let more air flow out instead of trapping some air in before ultimately letting it out. These are extremely effective vents, and they do look good. I don't love them, but the hood was already vented, so I figured why not add more vents. It kind of made it look more aggressive. It just kind of a different vibe. The hood vents do fit on the hood, like physically pretty well, so that's cool, and it's just a different look. I mean, you may love it, you may hate it, but one thing you cannot deny is that they do work phenomenally. It's pretty wild in traffic when this car gets some heat in it. You can actually see the hood, like right over the vents. You can see the heat evacuating out of it, especially at like 10, 15, 20 miles an hour. It does start to actually fly out, and you could physically see the heat waves leaving out the vents.